Stop what you are doing, cancel your plans for February, and book your tickets now because the Denver Broncos aren't just knocking on the door of the Super Bowl, they just kicked it wide open. They told us we couldn't handle Josh Allen, they told us the season was over in July, but after that overtime thriller against Buffalo, there is only one truth left standing. The Denver Broncos are the most dangerous team in the NFL, and we are officially on a generational run. Before we break down every insane moment of this victory, do me a massive favor and smash that like button, share this with every doubter you know, and subscribe so you don't miss a second of this playoff journey. Can you believe the national media actually thought this team was going to fold? I need you to really sit with that for a second. Go back to the preseason. Go back to the experts laughing at the roster. Look at where we are now. The Buffalo Bills were supposed to be the heavyweights. The odds makers had us as the underdogs. I watched every single pregame show leading up to kickoff, and not a single analyst picked Denver. Not one. They looked at the score from last year, that 31-7 blowout, and lazily assumed, well, it's the same old Broncos. That right there proves they don't watch our tape. They don't understand the heart of this roster. This isn't last year's team. We have Alex Singleton forcing fumbles and wrecking game plans. We have a locker room culture that has completely shifted from hoping to compete to expecting to dominate. And then there is Bo Nix. We need to have a serious conversation about the swagger of our quarterback. This rookie walked into a playoff atmosphere against Josh Allen, the supposed golden boy of the NFL, the MVP favorite, and he completely out-dueled him. It wasn't even close. The narrative all week was about how polished Allen is and how Nix is just a rookie trying to keep his head above water. But what did we see? We saw Josh Allen crumble. We saw him cough up the football 4 times. 4 turnovers. Meanwhile, Bo Nix played with a level of guts and composure that you simply do not see from a second-year player. It is infuriating to listen to the commentary sometimes. You have the announcers making excuses for Allen, glazing him up even as he's throwing interceptions, saying he just needs to shake it off. And in the very next breath, they criticize Nix for not being polished enough. Are we watching the same game? The moment the announcers finished praising Allen, he threw a pick to P.J. Locke. You can't script that kind of poetic justice. Nix didn't just win, he won the AFC West before Justin Herbert, and now he is on track to reach a Super Bowl before Josh Allen. That is the reality. So, here is the question of the day, and I want to see your answers down in the comments. After watching Bo Nix dismantle the Bills' defense and outplay a veteran superstar, is there any doubt left in your mind that he is the franchise quarterback for the next decade? Let me know what you think below. Now, let's talk about the weapons, because the check-down merchant allegations have officially been put to rest. The play to Marvin Mims was a thing of beauty. We all know Sean Payton has been keeping the offense somewhat under wraps since we swept through the Chiefs and the Cowboys. He's been hiding the true potential of guys like Mims. But when the lights were brightest, he unleashed him. Nix was under pressure, the pocket was collapsing, he couldn't even step into the throw, and he still floated a perfect ball. It showed everyone that this offense can put up 33 points on a stout defense. And we have to give flowers to Lil Jordan Humphrey. Talk about a redemption arc. In the first quarter, he drops a walk-in touchdown. It was heartbreaking. It felt like the sun was in his eyes, or maybe just the nerves, but that is the kind of mistake that usually breaks a player's confidence. But not this team. Later in the game, Nix rolls out, buying time with his legs, showing that athleticism, and launches a 44-yard bomb. The analytics said that pass had a 30% completion probability. It was a high-difficulty throw for a guy who critics say has a weak arm. But Nix drops a dime, and Humphrey makes the catch of his life. That is mental toughness. That is resilience. But as good as the offense was, this game was won in the trenches by the defense. We predicted this. We knew that turnovers come in bunches. We knew that even though the stats were quiet for a few weeks, the floodgates would open in the playoffs. And did they ever? It felt like we forced more turnovers in this single game than we did in the entire first half of the season. Nick Bonitto was absolutely possessed. I told my family watching the game that Bonitto needed to have a Von Miller type of performance, and he took that personally. 2 forced fumbles against the league MVP. He was unblockable. The Bills tried to chip him, they tried to use receivers like Shacker to slow him down, but you are not stopping a man on a mission with a wide receiver. Bonitto is playing the cage rush style perfectly, exactly how Vance Joseph drew it up, and he made the Bills' offensive line look fraudulent. And let's address the elephant in the room, the officiating and the Bills fans complaining about pass interference. I'm seeing it all over my timeline. They want to blame the loss on the referees. Give me a break. If you actually watched the tape, the Broncos were being held on virtually every single play. There was a moment where one of our defensive linemen literally had an armbar across his face in the end zone. That is a safety. The game should have ended right there with 2 points for us and the ball back. We shouldn't have even needed the heroics in overtime. So, I don't want to hear about a missed call when the holding on our defensive front was egregious all night long. The ending of this game, though? That was legendary. Ja'Quan McMillian, who needs to be paid like a superstar immediately, came up with the play of the year. The interception in overtime was clean. I know people want to argue simultaneous possession, but the rule book is clear: the player who comes away with the ball wins the possession. Ja'Quan ripped that ball away and sealed the fate of the Buffalo Bills. It wasn't just the stars, though. It was the creativity. Sean Payton reached into his bag of tricks and pulled out a play that looked straight out of the Detroit Lions playbook. Throwing a touchdown to our big offensive lineman, Frank Crum? Are you kidding me? Watching a man of that size rumble into the end zone and watching the Bills' defensive backs try to figure out how to tackle him was the highlight of the season. Frank Crum has been a secret weapon all year. Remember, he blocked the extra point that helped us beat the Chiefs. Now he's catching touchdowns in the playoffs. This team is having fun, and that makes them dangerous. We are now looking at a scenario where we have home field advantage. We have the altitude. We have the loudest crowd in professional football. The Texans and the Patriots are staring down the barrel of a trip to Mile High, and frankly, I don't think either of them stands a chance. We already beat the Texans in their house. Now they have to come to ours. Good luck. The Bills were the hurdle. The Bills were the scary team. And we just sent them packing. This win proved that the Denver Broncos can hang with, and beat, anyone. We beat the MVP. We beat the refs. We beat the odds. There is no quit in this team. Even when we had to punt the ball in overtime, a statistic that usually means game over, the belief never wavered. They walked out onto the field for introductions as a team, not as individuals, and they played as a team until the final whistle. And finally, I want to get a little personal with you guys because we have been on this ride together for a long time. As that overtime clock was ticking down, I had this sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach. There was a part of me preparing for the heartbreak, preparing to say, well, it was a good season. But then we won. And it hit me how much can change in a single year. Think about where we were last season. We were lost. We didn't belong on the same field as Buffalo. And personally, a year ago, I never could have imagined the battles I'd be facing off the field. Seeing my wife diagnosed with stage 3B cancer just months after that loss last year changed my entire perspective. It showed me that faith and family are what truly matter. But it also showed me the power of hope. Watching this team fight, watching them overcome the odds, it resonates on a deeper level this year. It's more than just football. It's about belief. So, take a deep breath, Broncos country. Look at what we have accomplished. We are back. The dark days are over. We are the overdogs, we are the fighters, and we are one game away from the Super Bowl. This is a generational run. We have everything to believe in. And as we saw against Josh Allen and the Bills, the ball don't lie.